Ben & Jerry's, the ice cream brand, is currently being held hostage by Magnum, the ice cream brand. I believe the cultural trickle-down from this case is incredibly important and can affect every small creator, every small business. You can't make this stuff up. This sounds like the plot of a show, yet this is actually really happening.
Because right now, Ben & Jerry's corporate parent, Magnum, is trying to silence them.
Before I go too far into a deep dive, I just did want to briefly discuss why I think this is important to creators, small businesses, the types of people who I've pitched this channel to. Is because with a business of any size, ultimately at some point there is going to be an external influence, whether you like it or not. People are going to invest money in your brand and then have expectations of you. And whether that's sponsors on YouTube, whether that's your clients as a small agency, there are going to be people, whether you like it or not, even if you are the 100% sole owner of your business, who have some kind of financial influence over your business. And you're going to have to make the decision what you want to do and whether you do things that follow their interests or not. And a huge organization like this, being able to bully a company, even though they own them, that they had a legal responsibility to uphold.
That independence existed in no small part because of the unique merger agreement Ben and I negotiated with Unilever. One that enshrined our social mission and values in the company's governance structure in perpetuity.
When they feel that empowered, that they want to go against that and bully that company because they don't agree with something, they don't agree with some statements this company had made, knowing fully well what it is and who they own and the mission of the company from day one, it's a very dangerous thing. If they feel like they can stand up and bully and push that hard and will do it this publicly, with all these people crying out, even again, investors, that is, people who part own them, just for YouTube creators, you think about the sponsors you have, you think about the brands you rely on to get samples from and do reviews of their things, and who play nice with you. And if you're one of those people who gets invited to cool events to see camera launches or get sent free stuff by toothpaste companies, I don't know who it is, I don't know what it is, then all of this could affect you. Those companies could feel more brazen in their attempts to influence your direction on your channel and the views that you express on your channel as well. I think it's very important, and I think it's a truth that a society and a set of values is only as strong as all the different people throughout that society upholding them. And if more and more people and more organizations don't uphold these values, then what you're going to find is they erode completely. So then when you step up, and you've been going, oh, but this doesn't affect me for too long. When you finally step up and you need to stand up for something you believe in, no matter what side of the political spectrum it stands on, you're going to feel silenced and look back on this and go, oops, too late. It's crumbled because nobody has the right to say what they want anymore. And so basically where they are now then is the two founders, Ben and Jerry, have both protested this in their own ways. Jerry Greenfield stood down from the company in protest.
I am resigning from the company Ben and I started back in 1978. This is one of the hardest and most painful decisions I've ever made.
And Ben Cohen is waging a war online, fighting a campaign to save Ben & Jerry's, which is obviously backed by Jerry as well. So this all got kicked off when Ben & Jerry started working on a flavor was anti-genocide in Gaza. Now, I find it absolutely fascinating that across the Western world at the moment, this seems to be a very common thing, that people speaking up about the situation in that part of the world seem to keep getting silenced. Now look, that is not what this video is about, but it's just interesting to me that it happens to coincide with that. But I want to put all that aside and just focus on actually what is happening with Ben & Jerry's. It's always been such a beloved brand for me. I think before I even knew about the social causes, I've always loved the ice cream. And a massive part of the reason why it's remained so consistent, why the quality's always been there, why it's always just tasted miles better than anybody else's ice cream, to be completely honest, is because even after Ben & Jerry's sold the company to Unilever, the huge, great big international food and beverage and medicine company, basically what happened is that part of the condition of the sale is that in perpetuity, no matter what happened to the company after that, they would have an independent board that was in charge of ice cream quality and those social causes, as I mentioned. Now, happily, look, Ben Cohen, the founder, is not going down without a fight. He's been standing up and he has been waging this war, free Ben & Jerry's. And what he has asked for them to do is free Ben & Jerry's by letting them spin off into their own independent company so that they can exercise their freedom of speech and continue to be a socially driven company. Magnum are holding fast. They are not letting this happen. Many of their investors have been standing up against this and telling Magnum, no, this isn't what we want you to do, you're wrong. But they've doubled down and they are not giving up on this. Perhaps because Ben & Jerry's brings them in a huge amount of money every year, and I think it is one of their most profitable brands. Particularly now Magnum Company is no longer part of Unilever and they are their own separate business. Ben & Jerry's is a huge chunk of that business, so they don't want to give up on this cash cow. So when I first came across this, I guess my initial reaction was, well, okay, the company is clearly run or heavily invested in by or has political interests from people on the other political side of the spectrum who want to silence this and who don't want this company with a lot of resources, the full resources of, I guess, the Magnum ice cream company and their marketing machine, even if they are at odds with them now and again, but they don't want this company speaking out and furthering causes that they're against. But the more I looked into it and the more I thought about it, there's another part of this that not a lot of the media are talking about, and I reckon perhaps could have something to do with it, even though it's not being explicitly discussed, even by Ben and Jerry and the people who are standing up for the company. But Ben & Jerry's have always insisted on very high quality ingredients. They haven't sort of been swayed by Unilever and by Magnum, replacing dairy, putting sort of nasty preservatives and things in the ice cream. And while other organizations have shifted to things not even really being ice cream, but a frozen dessert sort of thing, which isn't really ice cream anymore, using cheaper ingredients, Ben & Jerry's have held fast, just like their political principles. They have held fast with the quality of their ingredients. And I suspect a massive part of this is not just the Magnum company trying to silence the free speech, but maybe use that as a scapegoat to cut loose the founders, cut loose the board, and save a lot of money while keeping the brand going. If they can cut the board loose and not have to have an organization that overtly backs causes that they're against, but can still do sort of very shallow marketing stuff to make them appear like they are a socially responsible company, what they'll be able to do is make huge cost savings in the cost of ingredients. And lots of the ingredients that go into things like ice cream have been rising quite heavily recently. Things like chocolate, things like dairy, the cost of coffee even, for coffee-flavored ice creams, the cost of cocoa. All of the prices of this stuff have been rising over the last few years. If we had crises like what's happening in the Straits of Hormuz, things like the oil crisis that happened as well, shipping ice cream all around the world. And it does make me wonder if there's two sides to this. Obviously, they want to silence the political speech, but is this also one of the most cynical cost-saving measures in history? The cold hard facts with this, regardless of any of my speculation though, is that Ben & Jerry's have always been a very socially active company and seemingly socially responsible company. And where nobody else has, they've stood up for human rights. They've stood up for conservation. They've stood up for all sorts of small causes that other people don't champion. And I'm sure it has always been a thorn in the side of a huge, great big global multinational like Unilever, or now like the Magnum ice cream company. And so that's why Ben Cohen has started this Free Ben & Jerry's movement. You can go to his website, freebenandjerrys.com, and sign up to sign the petition to help free the company. And basically what they're asking Magnum to do, but simply to spin off Ben & Jerry's into a self-contained company that will be run by the founders and this board, while still no doubt having a huge ownership stake from Unilever and Magnum and the people who back them, so that they can pursue these causes without affecting the rest of the brands.
All we're asking is for them to sell the company to a group of people who support the values of Ben & Jerry's. Let Ben & Jerry's be Ben & Jerry's, let Magnum be Magnum.
Which seems like a very smart, very level-headed approach. They're not asking to be a private, small company again and to revert back to private ownership with only Ben & Jerry running things. But what they want to do is maintain the essence of the brand, maintain that social responsibility, And this is the strange thing, really, like the deal they are ultimately offering is a win-win for everybody. It's allowing this global multinational to still profit from them as well, while being able to distance themselves from a PR perspective. And so it seems to me to be a very, very, very strange branding move for the Magnum company to so fiercely go against a lot of what their investors are asking to do and hang on to this and keep it within the umbrella group. And it does make me wonder what their ulterior motives are, what else it is they're working toward. Maybe they are trying to appease a government or a party who has a stake in this. I do not know. But it just fascinates me that this is where that brand is at right now. And this is a situation we even have to talk about. An ice cream company being held hostage by its parent company. It is absolutely bizarre to me. That is how free speech slowly erodes. And look, this all sounds very doom and gloom. I'm extrapolating this to its worst possible extreme, and that doesn't have to happen. But I definitely think it's important for people to stand up for and stand behind Ben & Jerry's in this, and make it known to organizations, make it known to governments, make it known to regulators in different industries that this kind of thing can't go on and this kind of thing can't happen, and that when people have an agreement, not only a moral agreement, but a legal agreement, they need to abide by it. It's incredibly important. So I would say search for the hashtag Free Ben & Jerry's. Look at him on Instagram at YoBenCohen and go and sign that petition, please. Stand up for Ben & Jerry's. Stand up for high quality ice cream. Stand up for people's right to express their feelings about political causes, and stand up for the downtrodden without fear of reprisals from large companies. And protect yourselves in the long run too. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. I'm gonna finish this coffee and then go and get some ice cream. Love you, bye. Bonk.
Standing up for values of justice, equity, and our shared humanity has never been more important. And yet Ben & Jerry's has been silenced, sidelined for fear of upsetting those in power.